When a corrupt government targets a single mother's farm, they have no idea she's a lethal Delta Force commander with the skills to bring their entire operation crashing down. Will she risk everything to protect her daughter and expose the conspiracy that followed her home? I freeze at the kitchen sink when I hear the crunch of tires on my gravel driveway. Nobody comes up this way unless invited, especially not at 7:30 in the morning. Through my window, I spot 3 black SUVs and a government sedan kicking up dust as they approach my farmhouse. My heart pounds against my ribs like it used to before missions. Emma, I call upstairs. Finish your breakfast and get your backpack ready for school. My 8-year-old daughter mumbles something about not being done with her cereal. Any other day, I'd smile at her stubborn morning attitude. Not today. My fingers instinctively reach for the hidden compartment under the sink where my SIG sour waits. But I pull back. I'm Sarah Mitchell now, just a widowed mom growing organic vegetables on a small farm. Not Commander Mitchell, who led elite Delta Force teams across war zones for 15 years. The vehicles stop in a perfect formation. Men in suits step out, along with uniformed officers I don't recognize. Not local police. Their leader adjusts his tie as he walks toward my porch, tall, with a military haircut but soft hands. Government man, not a soldier. I wipe my hands on a dish towel and step onto the porch before they reach it. Better to control the encounter on my territory. Can I help you, gentlemen? You're trespassing on private property. My voice stays even, hiding the adrenaline already sharpening my senses. The lead man flashes a badge too quickly to examine. Agent Thompson, Department of Land Management. We have papers regarding this property. He waves a document folder with official seals. Let me see those. I reach for the papers, noting how the other men have spread out across my front yard in a tactical formation. 2 are checking sight lines to the barn. They're not just bureaucrats. The documents claim my farm has been rezoned for essential infrastructure development under eminent domain laws. The letterhead looks official, but something feels wrong. I've paid my taxes, maintained proper organic certification, and kept perfect records since buying this place 5 years ago after Jake died, and I left the service. There must be a mistake, I say, keeping my voice calm while scanning for weapons. They're all carrying, poorly concealed under jackets. I've had no notification of any zoning changes, and legally I'm entitled to hearings and proper compensation before any seizure. Thompson's smile doesn't reach his eyes. The notifications were sent certified mail. We have delivery confirmation. A lie. I check my mail religiously. I never received anything. I counter, reading more of the document. The surveying boundaries are wrong, deliberately extending on my neighbor Mac's property too. These coordinates are incorrect. Ma'am, we're just following orders. You have 48 hours to vacate before construction crews arrive. Thompson glances past me into the house. How many people live here? The question sends chills down my spine. He knows exactly who lives here. This isn't random. Just me and my daughter. I answer, shifting my stance to block his view inside. And we're not going anywhere until I speak with my lawyer. A second man steps forward. Ms. Mitchell, this isn't a negotiation. Senator Reynolds has fast-tracked this project personally. My blood freezes at the name. Senator Reynolds, the Intelligence Committee chairman who commissioned our final mission, the one where everything went wrong. The mission that got half my team killed when our position was mysteriously leaked to hostiles. The mission I've suspected for 5 years was compromised from within our own government. Senator Reynolds? I keep my voice neutral despite the roaring in my ears. What's his interest in a small organic farm in rural Ohio? Thompson smirks. Progress waits for no one, Ms. Mitchell. Not even decorated veterans. So they know who I am. This isn't about land at all. I hear Emma's footsteps behind me. Mom? Who are these people? Thompson's eyes lock onto my daughter, his smile broadening. Well, hello there, young lady. You must be Emma. I step sideways, keeping myself between him and my daughter. Emma, go finish getting ready for school, please. She hesitates, her small hand clutching her favorite stuffed rabbit, eyes wide as she takes in the men and vehicles. She's smart enough to sense trouble. Now, honey, I say firmly, not taking my eyes off Thompson. As Emma retreats inside, Thompson calls after her. Cute kid. Shame about her future here. My combat instincts surge at the thinly veiled threat. 5 years of peaceful farming falls away in an instant as I assess how quickly I could neutralize the 6 men I can see. But there will be more coming if these don't report back. You have 48 hours, Ms. Mitchell. Thompson hands me the papers. I suggest you use them wisely. Pack up, take the relocation money, and find somewhere new. Some battles can't be won. As they return to their vehicles, I notice one man taking photos of my property, another making notes about my barn and outbuildings. They're cataloging everything. The last SUV stops before pulling away. The window rolls down and Thompson leans out. By the way, Ms. Mitchell, your military record is impressive. Delta Force commander with 3 tours and multiple commendations. His eyes narrow, but even the most decorated soldiers know when to retreat. They drive away, leaving me clutching the fraudulent papers with shaking hands. I watch until the dust settles, then rush inside to find Emma sitting on the stairs, clutching her rabbit. "Mom, are we in trouble?" she asks, her voice small. I kneel before her, brushing her dark hair from her eyes. "No, baby, it's just a mistake. But we need to be extra careful for a little while." I help her finish getting ready for school, fighting to keep my movements normal while my mind races through options. When the school bus arrives, I hug her tighter than usual. "I love you, Emma Bear," I whisper. "Love you more, Mom," she says, then runs to the bus. As the yellow bus disappears down my long driveway, I close the door and let the commander and me take over. I move methodically through the house, retrieving hidden weapons from concealed compartments, places Jake helped me create when we first bought this place. A safe haven that doesn't feel safe anymore. In my bedroom, I pry up the loose floorboard and pull out the secure satellite phone I've kept charged but in use for 5 years. I stare at it, knowing that once I make this call, there's no going back to simple farm life. But they've already found me, and now they've threatened my daughter. My fingers punch in the only number I've memorized. 3 rings, then a gruff voice I haven't heard in years. "Hayes," answers my former commanding officer. "Sir," I say, my voice shifting to military precision. "We have a situation. Senator Reynolds found me." The school bus drops Emma off at 3:45. I'm waiting at the end of the driveway, scanning the road in both directions before walking her back to the house. I've spent the day preparing, my farm now wired with subtle, early warning systems from supplies I kept buried in the barn. Old habits die hard. "Why didn't you wait on the porch like normal?" Emma asks, skipping beside me. "Just wanted the exercise," I lie, noting the black sedan parked half a mile down the road. "They're watching us." Emma chatters about school as we walk, but stops when we reach the house. "Mom, why is your gun on the table?" My old service pistol sits cleaned and loaded next to a half-drunk cup of coffee. I quickly move to put it away. "Just cleaning it, honey. Remember how I taught you never to touch it?" She nods solemnly. I hate exposing her to this, but events are moving too quickly. 5 hours after my call to General Hayes, he texted a single word: "Confirmed." Senator Reynolds is behind the land seizure, and it's not just my farm. 3 other veterans from classified operations have faced similar rezoning issues in the past year. All went quietly. All disappeared after taking the settlement money. "Homework time," I say cheerfully, helping Emma set up at the kitchen table while I prepare dinner, keeping my movements between her and the windows. I've drawn the curtains, making it look casual though it's tactical. "Can I play at Lisa's house tomorrow?" Emma asks, working on her spelling. "Not tomorrow, baby. We're going to visit Aunt Kate for a few days. My sister lives 3 states away, far enough to keep Emma safe while I figure this out." "But what about school? And my science project?" Her voice rises with disappointment. "It's just for a little while." I set a plate of chicken and vegetables before her. Think of it as a mini vacation. After dinner, I let Emma watch cartoons while I pack, carefully selecting clothes, emergency supplies, and mementos that matter most to her. I'm almost finished when headlights sweep across the front of the house. Not moving, just idling at the end of my drive. I peek through the curtains. A single black SUV, engine running. Warning or surveillance. Either way, the message is clear: we're watching you. The vehicle finally pulls away after 20 minutes. I tuck Emma into bed, reading her favorite story about a brave princess who saves her kingdom. She falls asleep, clutching her rabbit, unaware of the storm brewing around us. Downstairs, I check every door and window lock, then pull out Hayes' file. The general sent a secure courier this afternoon with documents showing a pattern. Veterans with specialized skills being forced from their homes through falsified government actions. Land supposedly repurposed for public works that never materialize. Instead, private corporations with ties to Senator Reynolds develop the properties for massive profit. My phone buzzes with a text from Mac Nelson, my neighbor and fellow veteran. Men in suits asking questions about you in town. Watch your back. Around midnight, I hear vehicles approaching again. I'm ready this time. Night vision gear positioned to watch without being seen. 3 SUVs park at my gate. Men in tactical gear spread out along my property line, setting up surveillance equipment. Not government agents this time, private military contractors based on their movement patterns. I recognize Black River security logos on their gear. Black River, the private military company that mysteriously appeared at several of our mission locations years ago, always somehow ahead of official orders. The company rumored to have Senator Reynolds on its board of directors. At 2 a.m., my satellite phone vibrates. Hayes' voice is urgent. Mitchell, you need to move now. I've been compromised. They know I warned you. What about the evidence? I ask, already moving to wake Emma. Meet Rivera at the arranged location. She has the rest of the files. Hayes pauses. Sarah, they're not just after land. Reynolds is selling classified military intel through Black River. You were getting too close on that last mission. That's why they want you silenced. A crash echoes through the phone, followed by gunfire. Hayes, I shouted to the phone. Go dark. Trust no, the line cuts off. I race upstairs, gently shaking Emma awake. Baby, we need to go on our trip now. Right now. Her sleepy eyes blink in confusion. It's still nighttime, Mom. I know, but we're going to have an adventure. I help her into clothes, letting her bring her rabbit and backpack of treasures. Through my bedroom window, I spot more vehicles turning onto my road. We have maybe 5 minutes. I lead Emma to the hidden cellar beneath the pantry floor, accessing my emergency cache. Weapons, cash, false IDs Jake helped create years ago as a just-in-case we hoped never to use. I grab the go bags, already packed with essentials. Mom, you're scaring me. Emma whispers as I strap her into a small tactical vest, making it look like a game. It's okay to be scared. I tell her honestly, checking my weapons. But remember what I always say? Being brave doesn't mean you're not scared. It means doing what's right even when you are scared, she finishes, our family mantra. That's my girl. I kiss her forehead. We need to be very quiet now, like ninjas. We exit through the tunnel Jake and I built leading from the cellar to the woods behind our property. The cool night air hits us as we emerge from the hidden door built into what looks like an old tree stump. In the distance, I hear men entering my home, voices shouting commands. Emma's eyes widen at the noise. Listen to me, I whisper, kneeling before her. Those men back there want to take our farm, but they don't know who they're dealing with, do they? She shakes her head, a flash of determination breaking through her fear. You were a soldier, the bravest one. That's right. And now I need you to be my brave partner. We're going to play a very serious game of hide and seek. We move silently through the woods as flashlight beams cut through the darkness behind us. I hear dogs barking in the distance. They brought trackers. At the edge of my property, an unmarked dirt road winds through the forest. The old truck I've kept hidden under canopy cover waits, fueled and ready. I lift Emma inside, secure her, and start the engine. What about our house? My room, Emma asks as we pull away. I glance in the rearview mirror at the flashlights converging on our home. We'll come back, I promise. As we reach the main road, an explosion lights up the night sky behind us. They've set fire to my barn, the flames silhouetting the trees. Mom, Emma cries, turning to look. I grip the steering wheel tighter. Eyes forward, baby. Don't look back. Where are we going? She asks, tears streaming down her face. I check the mirrors for pursuit as we turn onto the highway. To find someone who can help us fight back. Emma clutches her rabbit tighter. Are the bad men going to find us again? I reach over to squeeze her hand, weighing truth against comfort before answering. They might try, but this time I'm not running away. The motel sign flickers in the pre-dawn darkness, casting strange shadows across Emma's sleeping face. She's curled up on the bed farthest from the door, still clutching her rabbit. We've driven through the night, switching vehicles twice using contacts from my old network. People who owe me favors. People who don't ask questions. I stand at the window, peeling back the edge of the cheap curtain just enough to watch the empty parking lot. 3 hours until I meet Rivera, the CIA operative Hayes connected me with before he went silent. My burner phone shows no messages. No news is good news in this game. Mom, Emma's sleepy voice makes me turn. Are we still playing the hiding game? I sit beside her on the bed, smoothing her tangled hair. Yes, but you're doing great. How about some breakfast? While Emma eats cereal from the vending machine, I clean my weapon and check our supplies. The motel television drones quietly in the background until a familiar name catches my attention. Fire at the Mitchell farm remains under investigation, the local news reporter says. Officials claim the blaze may have been set deliberately by the homeowner, who fled the scene with her 8-year-old daughter. I turn up the volume as images of my burning home fill the screen. The barn is completely destroyed. The farmhouse roof has partially collapsed. Local authorities are working with federal agents to locate Sarah Mitchell, who is wanted for questioning regarding suspicious activities. Anyone with information is urged to contact. I snap off the television before Emma can process what she's seeing. They're painting me as a criminal, setting the stage to justify whatever they do to us when they find us. That was our house, Emma whispers, milk dripping from her spoon. All my stuff, things can be replaced, I tell her, kneeling to meet her eyes. You and me, we're what matters. She nods bravely, but her chin trembles. Did the bad men burn our house? I hesitate, weighing how much truth an 8-year-old can handle. Yes, but that means they don't know where we are. That's good for our hiding game. At 8:30, I bundle Emma into our latest vehicle, an old pickup borrowed from one of Jake's Marine buddies who asked no questions when I showed up at his garage at 3 a.m. We drive to a busy shopping mall 40 miles from the motel. I need you to be my lookout, I tell Emma as we walk through the crowded food court. If you see anyone from our farm, the men in the black cars, you squeeze my hand 3 times. Can you do that? She nods solemnly, her eyes scanning the crowds with surprising intensity. She's adapting to our situation with a resilience that makes my heart swell with pride and ache with regret. Rivera chose this location well. Busy enough to blend in, multiple exits, difficult to isolate targets. I spot her immediately, mid-40s, reading a newspaper at a corner table, casual clothes that could belong to any suburban mom. Only her perfectly alert posture gives her away to trained eyes. I guide Emma to the table, sitting so my back is to the wall with clear sight lines to all entrances. Sarah Mitchell? Rivera asks without looking up from her paper. That's what my license says. I respond with a coded answer. She folds her newspaper, finally making eye contact. He spoke highly of you. I'm sorry about what happened. My stomach tightens. He's gone. Rivera nods, almost imperceptibly. His house exploded last night. Gas leak, according to the official report. Emma is watching a nearby family eat ice cream, seemingly distracted, but I know she's listening. Children always absorb more than adults realize. Who's your friend? Rivera asks, smiling at Emma. My daughter. Where she goes, I go. Rivera's expression softens slightly. I have a safe house. We can talk there. I need to know you're legitimate first, I say quietly. Hayes could have been compromised before he contacted you. Smart. Rivera slides a phone across the table. Call this number. It's Hayes' private line. The voicemail will answer with today's authentication code. I dial with one hand, keeping the other on my concealed weapon. A gruff voicemail answers. You've reached the wrong number. Today's forecast calls for scarlet thunder. I exhale slowly, recognizing our old mission code. She checks out. I tell Emma, who has been watching the exchange carefully. As we stand to leave, Emma suddenly squeezes my hand 3 times. Hard. I scan the food court and spot them immediately. Two men in casual clothes moving with military precision, talking into earpieces. Black River contractors, not government agents. We've been made, I whisper to Rivera. Without missing a beat, Rivera drops her coffee, creating a loud commotion as the cup shatters. In a momentary distraction, we slip into the service corridor she's already scouted as an escape route. How do they find us? I demand as we hurry through the back passages of the mall. They're tracking your daughter's stuffed rabbit, Rivera says. I stop cold. What? It's standard Black River procedure for high-value targets with children. Plant a tracker in a toy the child won't abandon. My mind flashes to Thompson's, eyes locking onto Emma's rabbit during our first encounter. They've been planning this from the beginning. I kneel before Emma. Honey, I need to check something on Mr. Hoppy. She reluctantly hands over the well-loved rabbit. I feel along the seams until I find it. A small hard lump inside the stuffing. I cut the stitching with my pocket knife and extract a tiny tracking device, no bigger than a button battery. I'm sorry, I tell Emma, returning the rabbit minus the tracker. The badman put something inside Mr. Hoppy to find us. Her eyes widen with understanding, then narrow with a flash of anger that reminds me startlingly of myself. They touched my stuff? Yes, and that was wrong of them. I drop the tracker and crush it under my boot. Rivera checks her watch. We need to move. My car's in the east lot. As we exit through a service door, gunshots ring out behind us. The Black River operatives have found our trail. Run, I shout, lifting Emma into my arms. We sprint across the parking lot as bullets ping off nearby cars. Rivera leads us to a nondescript sedan, keys already in hand. Get in, she yells, sliding behind the wheel. I buckle Emma in the back seat and jump in beside Rivera just as the rear window shatters from a bullet impact. Emma screams as Rivera floors the accelerator, tires squealing as we careen out of the parking lot. Stay down, baby. I reach back to push Emma below window level as more shots follow us. Rivera drives with expert precision, weaving through traffic and taking a series of rapid turns to shake our pursuers. I count 2 vehicles in pursuit, both black SUVs with tinted windows. Senator Reynolds must be desperate if he's authorizing a public shootout, Rivera says grimly, taking a hard right turn that throws us against the doors. This isn't about land, I say, checking my weapon. What does Reynolds really want from me? Rivera's eyes meet mine briefly. Not what? Who? You want your daughter. My daughter? The words barely escape my lips before Rivera swerves violently to avoid another barrage of bullets from the pursuing SUV. Eyes on the road. I shout, twisting in my seat to return fire through our shattered rear window. My first shot takes out the lead vehicle's front tire, sending it spinning across the highway divider. The second SUV falls back, momentarily cautious. What does Reynolds want with Emma? I demand as Rivera navigates onto a rural access road, buying us precious moments. Not here, Rivera says with a pointed glance toward Emma, who's huddled on the floor of the back seat, hands over her ears, tears streaming silently down her face. I holster my weapon and climb into the back, pulling Emma onto my lap. It's okay, baby. I've got you. You shot that car, she whispers, her voice shaking. Like in a movie. Sometimes real life gets scary. I tell her honestly, but I will always protect you. Rivera drives for nearly an hour, using back roads and switching vehicles again at a prearranged location, an abandoned gas station where a weathered pickup truck awaits with new plates. As dusk falls, we arrive at what appears to be a hunting cabin deep in the woods. The rustic exterior hides a surprisingly modern interior with reinforced doors, encrypted communication equipment, and surveillance systems monitoring the surrounding forest. CIA safe house, Rivera explains, activating security protocols. Off the books. Only 3 people know it exists. And 2 of them are in this room, I guess, settling Emma on a worn but clean sofa with a rabbit and a granola bar from our supplies. Hayes was the 3rd. Rivera's expression darkens. We're on our own now. Once Emma is distracted with a puzzle book found in the cabin, Rivera leads me to a small office and closes the door. Talk, I demand. Why does Reynolds want my daughter? Rivera pulls out a secure laptop. What do you know about Project Genesis? The name hits me like physical blow. Classified Genetic Enhancement Program. Experimental treatments for special operations soldiers. Jake was part of it before we met. Your husband didn't just participate, Rivera says, typing rapidly to access encrypted files. He was their greatest success. Enhanced strength, speed, healing, cognitive processing. The perfect soldier. My mind races back to how quickly Jake recovered from injuries, how he could go days without sleep on missions, his uncanny ability to process battlefield information. The program was officially shut down after concerns about ethical violations, Rivera continues. But Reynolds kept it going privately through Black River, selling enhanced soldiers to the highest bidder. Jake got out, I say defensively. He left the program before we had Emma. Rivera looks up from her screen, eyes meeting mine with unexpected sympathy. Sarah, he never left the program. The enhancements altered his DNA, changes that could be passed to his children. The room seems to tilt around me. You're saying Emma has inherited some of his enhancements, yes. Maybe all of them. Reynolds has been monitoring your family for years, waiting for the right moment to acquire her. Acquire? Rage rises in my throat. She's a child, not a weapon. To Reynolds, she's the next generation of the program. Natural born with the enhancements, no side effects. The perfect prototype. I think of Emma's unnaturally quick reflexes, how she rarely gets sick, her ability to remember conversations word for word. Things I'd attributed to good genes or luck. Hayes figured it out, Rivera says. He was investigating Reynolds when he discovered the connection to your family. That's why he reached out, and they killed him for it. I paced the small room, mind racing. The farm seizure was just an excuse to flush us out. Exactly. They wanted you desperate, on the run, with nowhere to turn. Easier to grab Emma and make you both disappear. A horrible thought strikes me. Jake's accident 5 years ago. Rivera nods grimly. No accident. He was getting too close to exposing Reynolds. They eliminated him and would have taken you both in, but you disappeared too quickly, changed identities. My legs weaken, and I sink into a chair. 5 years of believing Jake died in a training accident, of building a new life to keep Emma safe, all while the threat lurked in the shadows. I have something you need to see, Rivera says, turning the laptop toward me. The screen shows security footage from what appears to be a high-tech medical facility. Children in hospital gowns perform physical tests while men in lab coats take notes. Some of the children move with unnatural speed or strength. Others sit at computers, solving complex equations. This is Reynolds' private research facility, Rivera explains. Black River's real headquarters. He's been collecting children with genetic markers similar to Emma's. Some from willing parents, others not so willing. Horror washes over me as I watch these children, these experiments, going through their paces like trained animals. Where's this place? I ask, my commander's mind already formulating attack scenarios. About 60 miles from here, heavily guarded. We'd need an army, or one very motivated mother. I stand, resolve hardening within me. I need everything you have on the facility. Layout, security, personnel. A crash from the main room interrupts us. We rush out to find Emma standing frozen beside an overturned lamp, staring out the window. Someone's out there, she whispers. I saw them. Rivera and I exchange alarm glances. I draw my weapon while Rivera checks the security monitors. Nothing on the cameras, she says, frowning. Emma, are you sure? I begin, but the cabin's lights suddenly cut out, plunging us into darkness. Power's been cut, Rivera whispers, drawing her own weapon. They found us. Emergency lights flicker on, casting an eerie red glow throughout the cabin. Outside, I hear the faint crunch of footsteps on forest debris. Emma, come here, I order quietly, and she runs to my side. Remember our hiding game? Now we play for real. Rivera gestures toward a concealed panic room behind the bookshelf. Get her in there. I'll cover. The front window shatters as a smoke grenade bounces across the floor, quickly filling the room with thick, disorienting fog. Gas masks in the kitchen drawer. Rivera shouts, firing blindly toward the window. I grab Emma and rush toward the kitchen, keeping low beneath the smoke. As I reach for the drawer, the back door bursts open and tactical officers in full gear storm in. "Down! Everybody down!" they shout. I push Emma behind me, weapon raised, when a familiar voice calls out, "Hold your fire." That's Mitchell. Through the smoke steps a face I haven't seen in 5 years. Captain Marcus Reed, my former second-in-command. "Commander," he asks, lowering his weapon slightly. "Is it really you?" Before I can respond, Rivera emerges from the smoke, gun trained on Reed. "Sarah, don't trust him. He works for Black River now." Reed's men swivel their weapons toward Rivera. "She's the traitor, Commander. She's been feeding you false information. Reynolds sent us to extract you and Emma safely." Emma clings to my leg, terrified and confused as I stand in the middle with my weapon moving between Rivera and Reed, suddenly unsure who to trust. "Mom," Emma's voice trembles. "Who are the good guys?" My weapon shifts between Rivera and Reed as smoke swirls around us. "Trust no one." That was Hayes' final warning before he died. "Mom," Emma tugs at my shirt. "The bad men are getting closer." She's right. While we stand frozen in this standoff, more vehicles are arriving outside. "Sarah, we trained together for 8 years," Reed says, hands slightly raised. "Your call sign was Phantom 6. You saved my life in Kandahar when that building collapsed." "It's really me." "Don't listen," Rivera counters. "They've gotten to him." Black River turns operatives by threatening their families. Reed's jaw tightens. "That's Rich coming from a CIA double agent. Check her phone, Commander. She's been reporting your location every step of the way." My mind races through options as Emma presses herself against my leg. I can't risk her in a firefight. "Everyone lower your weapons," I order with my commander voice. Emma needs to get out of here safely. That's the priority. "Agreed," Reed says, signaling his team to lower their guns. "We have a secure vehicle." "So do I," Rivera insists. "Don't trust him, Sarah." "I'll make my decision." "Reed, have your men escort Rivera outside. Disarm her, but don't harm her. We'll all leave together and sort this out somewhere safer." Reed hesitates, then nods. 2 of his men approach Rivera cautiously. "You're making a mistake," she warns as they take her weapon. "Maybe, I admit, but I'm choosing the option least likely to get my daughter killed in the next 5 minutes." As Rivera is escorted out, I kneel beside Emma. "We're going with this man. He used to work with Mommy a long time ago. Is he a good guy or a bad guy?" she asks, studying Reed with suspicious eyes. "We're going to find out," I tell her honestly. "But right now, he's helping us get away from the people shooting at us, and that's good enough." Reed leads us through the woods to a waiting tactical vehicle. 2 more Black River operatives stand guard, heavily armed. "Commander Mitchell," one nods respectfully. The recognition from Reed's team seems genuine, not the behavior of men sent to kill us. Rivera is secured in the back of the vehicle, hands zip-tied, but otherwise unharmed. I guide Emma into the middle row and sit beside her, keeping my weapon ready across my lap. "Head for Checkpoint Delta," Reed orders the driver. "And watch for tails." As we speed away from the cabin, I watch explosions of gunfire erupt where we just stood. Another team has arrived, definitely hostiles this time. "That's the actual Black River extraction team," Reed explains grimly. "The ones Reynolds sent." "You're saying you're not with Black River?" I ask, confused. "Not Reynolds Black River," Reed clarifies. "The company fractured 6 months ago. Internal power struggle. Some of us discovered what Reynolds was really doing and broke away." "Convenient story," Rivera mutters from the back. "If I wanted to take your daughter, I'd have done it already," Reed snaps. Emma shrinks against me at his words. I wrap my arm around her protectively. "Both of you enough. Emma doesn't need to hear this." We drive in tense silence until we reach what appears to be an abandoned warehouse outside a small industrial town. Inside, however, is a fully operational tactical base, communications equipment, weapons, sleeping quarters, and medical facilities. "Welcome to the Resistance," Reed says as his team secures the perimeter. What's left of it, anyway. A medic approaches to check Emma for injuries. I watch like a hawk, never letting her out of arm's reach. "She's fine," the medic assures me. "Physically, at least." Emma has barely spoken since we left the cabin. The weight of our situation is finally crushing her brave front. I want to go home, she whispers as I tuck her into a cot in a corner we've made private with hanging blankets. I know, baby. I smooth her hair back. I'm working on it. But our home is gone. The bad men burned it. Her lower lip trembles. Where will we go? I have no answer that won't sound like another lie, so I just hold her until she falls into exhausted sleep. While I'm certain she won't wake, I join Reed in the command center where he's interrogating Rivera. Her hands remain bound, but she sits with the confident posture of someone not truly captured. Start talking, I demand. Both of you. No more half-truths. Reed unrolls a set of blueprints on the table. This is Reynolds' main research facility. Officially, it's a pharmaceutical company. Unofficially, it's where they're developing the next generation of enhanced soldiers. Using children, I add coldly. Not just any children, Rivera interjects. Children of the original Genesis participants. Like Emma. Reed nods reluctantly. Hayes figured it out first. He contacted me, then Rivera, building a team to take Reynolds down. Why should I believe either of you? I demand. Reed pulls out a tablet and plays a video message. Hayes appears on screen, looking exhausted. Sarah, if you're seeing this, I'm already dead, he begins. Everything I've told you about Reynolds is true, but there's more. He's not working alone. There's a network of powerful people funding his work. They call themselves the Delphi Group. Hayes continues, explaining how the Delphi Group has infiltrated multiple government agencies, manipulating policy to protect their interests while funding Black River's genetic research. Trust Reed and Rivera, Hayes concludes. They've both been deep undercover for years. One in Black River, one in CIA. They're the only allies you have left. The video ends, leaving me staring at the blank screen in shock. You're both undercover? I look between them. Working together? Not exactly, Reed admits, untying Rivera's restraints. We're working toward the same goal through different channels. We didn't know about each other until Hayes connected us last month. The cabin standoff was staged. I realize, to convince whoever was watching that you're enemies. Necessary theater, Rivera confirms, rubbing her wrists. We needed to extract you without revealing our alliance. The pieces click into place. The attack on the cabin wasn't a coincidence. You leaked our location deliberately. Reed has the decency to look apologetic. We needed Reynolds to commit his forces where we could control the situation. You used my daughter as bait, I say, my voice deadly quiet. To save dozens of other children, Rivera counters. Emma was never in real danger. We had snipers covering every approach. My fist connects with Reed's jaw before I can stop myself. He staggers back, but doesn't retaliate. I deserve that, he admits, touching his split lip. You deserve worse, I snarl. Emma is traumatized. Our home is destroyed. Hayes is dead. All for your grand plan. Not our plan, Reed says quietly. Hayes, this was always his endgame. Use the one person Reynolds wants most to draw him into the open. My daughter is not a pawn, I say through clenched teeth. No, Rivera agrees. She's the queen, the most powerful piece on the board. Reynolds will risk everything to get her. And that makes him vulnerable, Reed adds. For the first time, we can hit him where it hurts. I stare at the facility blueprints, military training already identifying entry points and security weaknesses. How many children are in there? I ask finally. 17, Rivera answers. All under 12 years old. All showing signs of genetic enhancement. And the security? Extensive, Reed says. Private military contractors, former special forces. Some are our colleagues once. What's your plan? Reed and Rivera exchange glances. We have the element of surprise, Reed explains. They think we're still fighting each other, and they don't know about this base. But most importantly, Rivera adds, they don't know what you're really capable of, Sarah. I narrow my eyes. What does that mean? Rivera slides a file across the table. Inside are medical reports. My medical reports from my time in Delta Force. You were part of Genesis 2, she says softly. Phase 2. They didn't just enhance the men. The medical file trembles in my hands as 15 years of unexplained memories suddenly make sense. The special vitamins during training, the classified medical procedures disguised as routine checkups, my impossible recovery after taking 3 bullets in Fallujah. That's not possible. I whisper, but deep down, I've always known something wasn't normal about my physical abilities. I never consented to genetic modification. None of you did, Rivera says gently. They disguised it as standard military medical treatment. Only the highest levels knew the truth. Jake knew, Reed adds. He figured it out near the end. That's why he wanted you both to disappear after Emma was born. I think of my daughter sleeping nearby, carrying genetic modifications from both parents. No wonder Reynolds wants her. Does Emma show signs? I ask, dreading the answer. Her school records indicate exceptional athletic ability and cognitive processing, Rivera confirms. Nothing that would raise alarms, just a very gifted child. I close the file, my decision made. I'm getting those children out. All of them. That's suicide, Reed protests. Even with your enhancements, the security is too heavy. I didn't say I was going alone. I point to the blueprint. You have resources. Rivera has intelligence. I have tactical experience. Together, we can do this. And Emma? Rivera asks softly. The question hits me like physical pain. Emma can't come on a raid, but I can't leave her behind either. There's no safe place, not anymore. I need to make a call. I say finally. 20 minutes later, I sit beside Emma's cot, gently waking her. Baby, there's someone here to see you. She rubs her eyes and sits up, then freezes in disbelief. Aunt Kate, my sister, rushes forward, gathering Emma in her arms. Hey, Pumpkin. I watch them embrace, gratitude and guilt warring inside me. Kate came immediately when I called, driving through the night to reach us. You'll go with Aunt Kate for a few days, I explain to Emma. She'll keep you safe while I finish dealing with the bad men. Emma's face falls. You promised we'd stay together. I know, and I hate breaking that promise. I sit beside her, taking her small hands in mine. But this is the only way to make sure the bad men never bother us again. Are you going to hurt them? She asks with eerie perception. I choose my words carefully. I'm going to stop them from hurting other children. Children like you. She studies my face with those intelligent eyes that see too much. There are other kids the bad men want. Yes, and I'm the only one who can help them. Emma is quiet for a long moment, then reaches for Mr. Hoppy, her stuffed rabbit. Take him with you, she says, pressing him into my hands. He's brave, and he'll keep you safe. My heart breaks at her gesture. I can't take your rabbit, baby. He's not just a rabbit, she insists. Dad gave him to me. He said Mr. Hoppy has special powers. I blink back tears, accepting the worn toy. Then I'll definitely bring him back to you. Along with me. Kate approaches as I finish briefing her on contingency plans, emergency contacts, and getaway routes. Is any of this legal? She whispers, glancing around at the military operation surrounding us. No, I admit. But it's right. Just like old times, she sighs. You always did color outside the lines, Sarah. This time it's different, I tell her. This time, I'm fighting for all the children they've turned into weapons. Kate hugs me tightly. Just come back. Emma needs her mother more than the world needs another hero. 2 hours later, Kate and Emma are gone, spirited away to a safe house only I know about. I turn my full attention to the mission ahead. Satellite imagery shows increased activity at the facility, Rivera reports. Reynolds knows we're coming. Good. I say, checking my weapons. Let him prepare for a frontal assault. That's not how we're getting in. Reed raises an eyebrow. You have another plan? I point to a maintenance tunnel on the blueprint. Underground, just like we did in Tehran. That entrance will be guarded, Reed warns. By 2 men, standard rotation, I counter. I can handle 2 guards. And once we're inside, Rivera asks. I trace a path through the sublevels. We split up. Reed, you lead the team to secure the children. Rivera, you find and copy the research data. I'll locate Reynolds. Alone. Reed looks concerned. His personal security is elite. I'm not planning to fight them. I check the specialized equipment Rivera's team has provided. I'm going to make Reynolds an offer he can't refuse. The plan comes together over the next hours. Entry points, timing, extraction routes. Reed's Rebel Black River faction provides the manpower, 12 operators with special forces backgrounds. Rivera contributes the intelligence, guard rotations, security protocols, personnel files. At midnight, we conduct final gear checks. Body armor beneath civilian clothes, weapons with suppressors, communication devices secure from electronic surveillance. One more thing, Rivera says, handing me a small injector. Adrenaline boost developed from the Genesis program. It'll enhance your natural abilities for about 30 minutes. I stare at the device. Side effects. Crash afterward. Hard, but it might save your life if you're cornered. I pocket the injector, hoping I won't need it. Vehicle's ready, Reed announces. We move in 20. As the team makes final preparations, I step away to a quiet corner, Emma's stuffed rabbit in my hands. Something about Jake's words to Emma bothers me. Special powers. Jake never spoke like that, never encouraged magical thinking. On impulse, I examined the rabbit more closely. The tracking device Rivera mentioned was removed, but something about the stitching along the back seems odd. I gently pull at a hidden seam, and the stuffing parts to reveal a slim metal container. Inside is a USB drive and a handwritten note in Jake's handwriting. My hands shake as I read. Astra Sarah, if you're reading this, then what I feared has happened. Reynolds found you. This drive contains everything. The Genesis files, the Delphi group members, evidence of their crimes. I couldn't risk coming forward while alive. They would have killed you both immediately. Keep Emma safe. The enhancements we carry are nothing compared to what she may develop. I'm sorry for the secrets. I love you both. J'y astérisque. 5 years after his death, Jake is still protecting us. I connect the drive to a secure laptop, and pages of classified documents appear. Names, dates, bank accounts, medical records. The entire conspiracy laid bare. Rivera, Reed, I call, my voice urgent. We need to change the plan. They hurry over as I show them the drive's contents. This changes everything, Rivera breathes. With this evidence, we don't need to raid the facility. We could bring down Reynolds legally. No, I say firmly, ejecting the drive. We're still going in. Those children can't wait for the legal system to work. But now we have leverage. I tuck the drive into a secure pocket. And a backup plan. A young operator approaches. Commander, vehicles are ready. We need to move now to hit our window. I stand, tucking Emma's rabbit into my tactical vest. Let's go get those kids. As we move toward the exit, Reed touches my arm. Sarah, if this goes sideways. It won't, I say with a confidence I don't entirely feel. But if it does, he persists. What should we tell Emma? A pause, the weight of what we're about to do suddenly overwhelming. 17 children waiting for rescue. A conspiracy reaching into the highest levels of government. And my daughter, carrying a genetic legacy she doesn't understand. Tell her, I say finally, that her mother kept her promise. Tell her I stopped the bad men. The night air is cool as we load into unmarked vans. I check my weapon one final time, feeling the commander I once was merging with the mother I've become. Reynolds doesn't know what's coming for him. Reed says beside me. I think of Jake's sacrifice, Hayes' death, my burning farmhouse, and Emma's frightened eyes. No, I agree, my resolve hardening like steel. He really doesn't. The rain falls in heavy sheets as our 3-vehicle convoy approaches the Black River Research Facility. Lightning flashes, illuminating the compound's outer fence topped with razor wire. Security cameras pivot on their mounts, searching the darkness. Guards with assault rifles patrol the perimeter, barely visible through the downpour. Weather works in our favor, Reed murmurs, checking his tactical gear one last time. Reduces visibility, masks noise. I nod, feeling the weight of Emma's rabbit tucked into my vest. My daughter is miles away with Kate, but this stuffed animal and the secret drive it contained feel like she's still with me, lending me strength. 2 minutes to entry point, our driver announces. Rivera distributes earpieces to the team. Channel secure. Check in by number only. The 12 operators acknowledge in sequence. All former special forces, all betrayed by Reynolds in some way. Their motivation is personal, just like mine. Remember, I tell them as we prepare to move, these children have been subjected to experiments their entire lives. They may be frightened, confused, even hostile. Approach with caution, but they are not the enemy. They're the mission. The vehicles stop in a wooded area half a mile from the facility. From here, we proceed on foot through the rain-soaked forest. Guard rotation in 60 seconds. Rivera reports through the comm, stick to the schedule. We move silently through the trees, using the storm for cover. I take point, leading 2 operators toward the maintenance tunnel, while Reed and Rivera split off with their teams to create diversions at opposite ends of the compound. The tunnel entrance is disguised as a drainage culvert, partially hidden by overgrown vegetation. As predicted, 2 guards stand watch, miserable in the downpour, more concerned with staying dry than maintaining vigilance. I signal my team to hold position, then advance alone, using the darkness and rain as cover. The first guard doesn't see me until I'm already behind him. One precise strike to the pressure point at the base of his skull, and he collapses silently. The second guard turns at the slight noise, but too late. My hand clamps over his mouth as I apply pressure to his carotid artery. Seconds later, he joins his companion in unconsciousness. Clear, I whisper into my comm. My team advances. We zip tie and gag the guards, then drag them into the culvert. One operator works on the electronic lock while the other stands watch. Diversion teams in position. Reed's voice crackles through the earpiece. Ready on your mark, Rivera confirms. The lock clicks open, revealing a narrow concrete tunnel lit by dim emergency lights. Mark, I command. Immediately, explosions rock the far side of the compound. Alarms blare as security forces rush to respond to what they believe is the main attack. We're in, I report, leading my team into the tunnel. Proceed to Phase 2. The maintenance shaft connects to the facility's sublevels, giving us access to the entire building through service corridors and ventilation ducts. According to the blueprints, the children are kept on the 3rd sublevel in what's labeled as developmental research. We encounter 2 technicians in the first junction room. They reach for alarm buttons, but fall to silent tranquilizer darts before their fingers find the switches. Control room ahead, my point man whispers. Through the narrow window in the door, I can see 3 security officers monitoring camera feeds, their attention focused on the diversionary attack outside. I remove a small device from my pocket, a specialized EMP that will temporarily disable electronics in a limited radius. Slipping it under the door, I trigger the device, plunging the room into darkness as monitors and communications equipment fail. Before the guards can react, we burst in, subduing them with practiced efficiency. One reaches for his sidearm, but freezes when my knife presses against his throat. The children, I growl. Where are they? I don't know what you're talking about, he stammers. I press harder, drawing a thin line of blood. Genesis Project kids. Where? Fear wins out. Section D, East Wing. Keycard access only. I take his keycard and zip tie him with the others. At the security console, I access the building schematics, confirming the location. Rivera, I report, uploading facility layout to your tablet. Data center is on sublevel 5. Copy that. She responds, her voice tight with tension. Heavy resistance in the north corridor. Reed's team is pinned down. Stick to the plan, I order. We got the interior route map now. We move through the service corridors, avoiding main hallways where security teams rush to respond to the diversions. The facility is massive, a labyrinth of research labs, medical rooms, and offices. Halfway to Section D, my comm crackles. Commander, be advised. Reed's strained voice comes through. Reynolds isn't on site. Repeat, primary target is not present. My stomach drops. The entire plan hinged on confronting Reynolds directly, using Jake's evidence as leverage. Confirmed sighting in Washington, Rivera adds. He's at the Capitol for a closed Intelligence Committee meeting. I process this setback quickly. Mission continues. Children are priority 1. We reach the entrance to Section D, a sterile white corridor with reinforced doors bearing biometric locks. The guard's key card gets us through the first security checkpoint, but the inner doors require fingerprint and retinal scans. I need alternatives, I tell my team. The explosives expert examines the lock. I can breach it, but it'll trigger every alarm in the building. Wait, I say, spotting something. Air duct access. Above us, a ventilation shaft large enough for a person to navigate runs the length of the corridor. I boost myself up, removing the grate, and pull myself into the cramped space. I'll find another entry point. I whisper into my comm standby. The shaft is barely wide enough for my shoulders, forcing me to army crawl through dust and cobwebs. After 30 feet, I spot another grate below me. Through the slats, I can see what appears to be a dormitory. Small beds arranged in rows, each occupied by a sleeping child. My heart pounds as I count 17 small forms. The children we came for. As I watch, a door opens and a woman in a lab coat enters, accompanied by 2 armed guards. The children immediately sit up in their beds, moving with unnatural synchronization. No talking, no complaining, just immediate compliance. They've been trained like soldiers. The woman checks a tablet. Subject 7, report to medical. Subjects 3 and 12 to training. The rest of you, classroom time. The 3 selected children stand while the others form a line. None speak. None fidget like normal kids. They move with mechanical precision that makes my skin crawl. I need to get inside, but the room is too heavily guarded for direct entry. I watch the children file out, noting their destination. If I can't get to them here, I'll intercept them en route. Backtracking through the vent, I rejoin my team and explain the situation. We need to split up, I decide. Carter, with me, will intercept the main group. Roberts follow the 3 being separated. Trank darts only. These are children, remember. We move quickly through the service corridors, using the updated facility map to plot interception points. I try reaching Reed and Rivera, but communications are breaking up. Something's jamming our signal. We round a corner and spot them. 14 children walking in perfect formation, escorted by the woman in the lab coat and 1 guard. I signal Carter to take position at the other end of the hallway. On my mark, I whisper, guard first and the doctor. Before I can give the signal, one of the children, a girl about Emma's age, suddenly stops walking. She turns her head, looking directly at my hiding spot as though she can sense my presence. Subject 9, continue moving, the doctor orders sharply. Instead, the girl points toward me. Someone's here, she announces in a flat voice. Hidden, armed, female. The guard raises his weapon toward my position as the doctor pulls out a radio. I have no choice now. I step into the open, hands raised. Don't shoot, I say calmly. You'll hit the children. The guard hesitates, giving Carter the opening he needs. A tranquilizer dart hits the man's neck, and he crumples to the floor. The doctor backs away, pulling a small girl in front of her as a shield. Stay back, she shouts, pressing a panic button on her bracelet. Alarms immediately blare throughout the facility. Let her go, I demand, weapon trained on the doctor. The children stand perfectly still, watching with eerie detachment. The girl who sensed me, Subject 9, tilts her head curiously. You're like us, she says, but older. Before I can respond, the facility shakes with a massive explosion. Emergency lights flash as the sprinkler system activates. Rivera, report. I shout into my comm. Her voice comes through broken by static. Data, downloaded, but security, compromised. Self-destruct, initiated. My blood runs cold. The facility is going to blow, with 17 children still inside. Everybody move. I shout as another explosion rocks the building. Ceiling tiles crash down, and emergency sirens wail through the corridors. Carter, secure the doctor. As Carter subdues the panicking scientist, I face the children who stand motionless despite the chaos erupting around them. We need to leave this building right now. I tell them firmly but gently. It's not safe here. They stare at me blankly, unresponsive to the obvious danger. The girl who sensed me, Subject 9, speaks again. We must wait for authorized personnel to issue evacuation orders. I'm authorized personnel, I say, removing Emma's stuffed rabbit from my vest. Something tells me these children need a symbol more than a military command. This is Mr. Hoppy. He says it's time to go. To my surprise, recognition flickers in several children's eyes. The smallest girl whispers, like Mr. Whiskers in our story. They've been told stories about stuffed animals, a small piece of childhood allowed in their controlled environment. I seize the opportunity. That's right. Mr. Hoppy is friends with Mr. Whiskers. They both want you safe. I hold out my hand. Who's coming with us? Subject 9 steps forward first, taking my hand. The others slowly follow. Commander, Robert's voice crackles through my comm. I have the 3 separated children. Meeting you at extraction point B. Change of plans. I respond as the building shutters again. Primary routes compromised. Head for the maintenance tunnel immediately. I lead our strange procession through the crumbling facility, Carter bringing up the rear with the subdued doctor. The children follow with perfect discipline, stepping over debris without hesitation or complaint. Where's Reed? I demand into my comm. East wing collapsed. Rivera's voice answers, heavy with exhaustion. He got his team out, but went back for stragglers. Another explosion, closer this time. The floor beneath us cracks ominously. This way, I direct, guiding the children down a side corridor as the ceiling collapses behind us. The facility is disintegrating faster than anticipated. Someone wants to destroy all evidence, regardless of the lives inside. We reach a junction where Rivera waits with 2 injured team members. Data secured. She reports, holding up a hard drive. Complete Genesis files, plus operations ledgers connecting Reynolds to everything. The others? I ask, already fearing the answer. 3 dead. Formated out with the first group of security personnel during the confusion. A child tugs at my sleeve, subject 9. The man who makes the rules is watching, she says, pointing to a security camera still functioning in the corner. Reynolds, I realize. The senator isn't here physically, but he's monitoring the situation remotely. I face the camera directly. This ends now, Senator. We have all 17 children in your complete files. Stand down your self-destruct sequence. The facility rumbles in response, more violent than before. Reynolds is accelerating the destruction. New plan, I announce, scooping up the smallest child as concrete dust rains down. Everyone move. We race through the disintegrating corridors, the children keeping pace with uncanny endurance. One boy, no more than 10, lifts a fallen beam blocking our path with strength impossible for his size. Their enhancements are real and remarkable. At a collapsed section, we're forced to detour through the laboratory areas. The rooms contain medical equipment, testing apparatus, and disturbing restraint devices sized for children. Subject 9 slows, staring at a particular examination table with visible fear, her first real emotional response. Keep moving, I urge gently. You never have to see this place again. We're nearly to the maintenance tunnel when Reed appears from a side passage, carrying an unconscious guard over his shoulder. Found him trying to get out, Reed explains grimly. Black River's second in command. He knows everything. The building gives a final, shuddering groan. Talk later, I order. Move now. We push through to the tunnel entrance, just as the main structure begins to collapse behind us. The narrow passage provides temporary shelter as we hurry the children toward the exit, the sound of destruction echoing behind us. Outside, rain still pours as dawn breaks on the horizon. The children blink in confusion at the natural light, some squinting in pain, suggesting they rarely venture outdoors. Vehicles 3 minutes out, an operator reports. I kneel before Subject 9 as we wait. What's your real name? Not your subject number. She stares at me blankly. Subject 9 is my designation. You had a name before, I insist gently. Before they brought you here. She closes her eyes, concentrating hard. Lily, she whispers finally. I think my name was Lily. The other children watch this exchange with awakening curiosity. One by one, they begin to remember David, Michael, Sophie, Anna, names instead of numbers. As our extraction vehicles arrive, Rivera approaches with her satellite phone. We need to move quickly. Reynolds will have damage control teams en route. What about your evidence? I ask. The hard drive and Jake's files? Already uploaded to secure servers and major news outlets, she confirms. Reynolds was on camera at the Capitol when the story broke. FBI has him in custody now. The entire Delphi group is scrambling. Relief floods through me, but it's not over yet. The Black River commander regains consciousness, struggling against his restraints. You think this changes anything? He spits. There are other facilities, other children. Reed shoves him roughly into a separate vehicle. And now we know where to look. As we load the rescued children into transports, Subject 9, Lily, tugs at my hand. Are we going to a new facility? She asks, her voice small but hopeful. I shake my head firmly. No more facilities. We're finding your families. What if we don't have families? A boy asks. Then we'll make new ones. I promise. Thinking of Emma. People who will love you for who you are, not what you can do. 3 days later, I stand on my sister's porch, heart pounding as the front door opens. Emma appears, freezing in disbelief before launching herself into my arms with a cry that holds all the emotion of our time apart. Perfect trust. Like a superhero, I think of the enhancements flowing through my veins, the secrets Jake died protecting, the children with remarkable abilities who deserve normal lives. No, baby, I say softly. Just a mom who remembers how to be a soldier when she needs to be. Below us, Reed calls my name. There's work to be done, children to save, corrupt officials to bring to justice. But for this moment, in a treehouse with my daughter and a child I've helped free, I am exactly where I need to be, straddling two worlds and finally at peace with both.